Hi, this is Katie Shell. I'm an intuitive healer and spiritual counselor. I work with several modalities, including aromatherapy, astrology, and embodied movement. And a lot of the work I do is channeling the messages of Gaia, of the divine feminine. And I do a lot of that through my body rather than through my words, though I have been called to do this a lot more through my words. And so I hadn't done a video specifically on Mary Magdalene yet, and today I felt really called to do that. I recorded the video, and it felt like it wasn't quite, as I was recording it, it didn't feel quite like it was something that I should be sharing right now. Then I re-listened to it and I went, yeah, I think I should share this right now. But I'm going to edit it a little bit because there's just a few things. So there's going to be some choppiness. Actually, there's going to be two kinds of choppiness. There's going to be choppiness because I take out a couple of things that I don't want to put out in the video. And second, there's going to be some choppiness because it is very, very much channeled information. And so I'm just checking in constantly to make sure I'm saying the right things. And it's primarily on the divine Mary Magdalene and the balance of the divine masculine and the divine feminine. There will be more videos that deal more with her tools, which are essential oils, more with her messages about compassion and some of the other stuff that I have worked with her on. And more to come. Enjoy the video. Thank you. She's probably my most important guide. I channel her through when I'm doing energy work. I do not speak for her though. It is very clear that although she shares very specific things through me, very important information that is for the collective, I'm not here to tell her story. Plenty of people have told her story over the millennia, and that's not what she needs people to do for her right now. She is here to help in the rising of the divine feminine and helping us learn how to actually balance the masculine and feminine, because she's done that. When she was here, at least in the form of Mary Magdalene, she's had several other incarnations, and other ways that she presents herself to people, but I really focus on the Magdalene part of that. And there's several reasons for this. So as I'm talking, certain things are coming through that I want to share, or that she wants me to share. And so forgive me if I'm a little choppy with this, but I want to make sure that I'm saying the right things, because like many women in history, our stories are told by the men, by the masculine, trying to put it in a certain box, to fit it in a certain way, to forward a certain agenda. And her story is certainly one of the most misrepresented that there have been, because it's been used as a warning or as a redemption story rather than a story of balance and equality, and a way that the divine feminine supports the divine masculine, the way the divine masculine supports the divine feminine. And this is part of the reason that she's asking me to start more intentionally working with her to bring certain pieces of information and certain bits of teachings forward for all of us. Because if you've watched some of my other videos, there's a lot about this balancing of the divine feminine and the divine masculine. You know, it's the divine, for millennia, it was the divine feminine was the dominant, and then for the last couple millennia, it was the divine, not the divine masculine, it was the divine masculine, then overblown into a patriarchy and like an over-representation of that energy of building things in logic and structure, which are all very helpful for humanity. But there was a time I have been made to believe that there was never a time when they were in balance. But in the last few weeks, if you watch my video on Bridget, it was just after that. It was actually at my Bridget ceremony. Um, it's connected with the Scotch pine. If you've seen my video on that, because that was sort of an epiphany as well. And there was a time, and it was associated with Avalon, um, and the energy of that time when there actually was a balance of the masculine and feminine in a little kind of microcosm, micro environment. Um, and that was I'm, I've been remembering that lifetime for myself and have been invited to reconnect with it and bring pieces of it into this lifetime. I know this is, like I said, this is a very different video from those that I've made before, but I have been called to do more things like this. And but this video is supposed to be specifically about Mary Magdalene and my relationship with her, but it's feeling a little bit more of one of the important teachings that she brings. And because, excuse me, it's about, again, it's about that balancing of the masculine and feminine. And we, as, people, humans who have been taught her story, it was even the best case scenario. Well, no, there's so many versions of her story out there these days. And I would never debate any of the ones that have felt true, or, like I said, or retelling them. But one of the most important things that comes across in a lot of the people who are channeling information about her is that she was channeling or researching or whatever, is that she was an equal to Yeshua, and that she was a priestess of Isis, that she was able to, that all of this was part of bringing all of this ability to grow and ascend and to teach the language of love, of the universal language of love and compassion. And that part of what she did was she witnessed the suffering of her beloved. And that was his job, was to suffer and to teach love. And her job was to witness it and to share it and to know. And one of the teachings, and I've written about this a few times, is that we can learn that from her, that she is sometimes called Our Lady of Compassion. And that is because she is able to hold such clear space. That's part of the reason she, as a priestess, as this space holder, and she's the one who shared the messages. She's the one who shared his messages, or their messages. It's not just his messages, it's their messages. And as they created this container in order to spread the message of love, and how transformational, pure, unconditional love is. How when we are able to hold our boundaries, and that's why she goes through the training. That's why they all went through the training, the acceptance, the temples of Egypt, and the mystery schools of those times. That's why I'm the mystery schools. Holding back. They learned how to transcend, how to transform, how to move throughout space, time and space, and how to be present and experience things as humans in a way that allows this transmutation of grief into love. Because after he leaves, he ascends. And one of my friends in one of my Magdalene classes that I did several years ago, she's like, why is it always what did she say? And a couple of this has come up a few times in subsequent teachings, is he got all the glory and he was here for a couple years and had a terrible death. Nobody debates that. But she's the one who stuck around and had to do all the work. And there's something that really resonates with me with that. And it's true. Because there's something about the divine masculine. And I also believe that Yeshua is a space holder for the masculine as an embodiment of the divine feminine. And I think there's some important teachings on that will be coming through as well. But for this one, it is focused on him as the divine masculine, or at least the divine masculine and her as the feminine, him as the masculine. Because masculine and feminine don't always play a role in play gender roles. But there's a reason that most of the channeled materials that you see are masculine entities or masculine names. There's not a lot of channeled materials from the divine feminine, because the divine feminine is about feeling and being rather than action and saying and language. So I have found that is part of the reason that when I'm working with her, it's while I'm doing things, while I'm dancing, while I'm anointing. That was supposed to be the purpose of this video, was talking about essential oils and how that was an important one of her tools, as a way that as essential oils are actually transmuted, transform, alchemized plant material, where you bring in the fire, the air, and the earth, and the water, and all together, and you get this essence of something, and you work with it, and it's powerful magic. And there were the myrrh bearers and the myrrhphores that in that lineage, and the way she was taught in the temples of Isis, and she is the original oil lady, as I like to say. But when it comes to this idea of her and the divine feminine and the divine masculine, what was I saying? The channeling. Because we be. We just be. And so there isn't a lot of talking that happens. I mean, there's talking. Women like to, women have a reputation for talking, but it's talking about feelings and experiencing feelings rather than explaining things necessarily. And I'm not going to give you a whole list of rules and languages or teachings, really, like steps or guidelines. It's much more about embodiment and feeling and learning and being. And so she had to be, and he taught. So in this case, he was the one who, the words, although the Gospels were written, most of the Gospels were written by the male disciples. Again, I debate whether or not she was a disciple as much as they were partners. Because I believe she brought in just as much as he did. So she, in the act of being rather than teaching, she's the one who spread the message of love, of unconditional love, of compassion. Because she still had compassion for people. She still, after the worst of the worst things, after she witnessed this horrible tragedy, horrific event that she signed up for. Well, it depends on whose version of the story here. So I'm not even going to cut that part out. Nope. Yeah. Not saying that one. No. Because there's a lot of versions of that part of the story, and I'm not here to debate her story. I'm here to understand and share with the energy of what was brought. And this idea of sharing the message of unconditional love and remembering, if you've ever heard me say this, it's something I say a lot. It's one of the most important teachings from the Sermon on the Mount is love thy neighbor as thyself, which means love thyself. Because there is an infinite amount of love in this world, and we are only able to love others as much as we love ourselves. And that is the message. That is the bottom line message of all of it. And that is the message that she tried to share. And because it didn't fit into the hierarchies and the all of the other things, the hierarchy and the patriarchy and all of the archies, the malarkey of the time and of the millennia to follow, a lot of that was lost. Um, but it's all hidden in plain sight. It was all available to all of us all along. And by tuning into her energy and their energy and how they work together and how they were, like, I don't get caught up in the love story. It's fine and it's good and why not? But I mean, we're all human, and part of being human is enjoying all of the experiences of the physical world. Um, so there's no doubt in my mind that that was certainly part of their experience with each other. But it's not the most important part. The most important part is this balancing and this coming together of the divine masculine and the divine feminine as partners.